Welcome to WO50, Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
Hello, everybody. My name is Corinne, and I'm here with my BFF, Eddi. And today our topic is Beyond the Invisible, seeing and celebrating ourselves in every stage of life. Did you feel relevant in the conversation?
I did. I had some nice moments of sharing story and
it's just, we talked about how as we get older we might feel invisible and how to stay relevant, and I'm am always into finding relevance from within, but then there's also other things. Once you have that relevance from within and you feel confident from within, then you can stay relevant with technology and working with AI and keeping in touch with everybody that way. So many ways.
Yeah. We don't have to depend on outside to feel relevant, for sure.
That's right. Right.
You're making me feel relevant today.
Enjoy, everyone. Hello.
How's my BFF doing on this beautiful day?
Excellent. I'm getting ready to go to Canada. I still haven't packed yet. I leave early in the morning. And
Wow.
my suitcases are sitting here, and I've got a little pile started, but I've just been a little bit busy.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get the garden to a point that's not stressful for anybody while I'm gone. So I picked like 3 fennel bulbs last night, and I had a bunch of tomatoes. I've been giving away tomatoes every time somebody comes. So then I asked AI, I said, what can I cook with fennel and tomatoes from the garden that's good, that maybe I can freeze later or use, or what's
Soup.
good? And I can use, so I put it in a big crock pot. I put garlic, onions, the fennel, and the tomatoes, and I just chopped it. It was like a big, huge crock pot. Put it in the oven for an hour on like 375. And then and then you can make anything into it. It's this big thing that we put it on rice tonight for dinner. And then we froze half of it, and that'll be good for like either a soup or a sauce or pasta sauce or whatever.
And you know what would be delicious in that?
What?
Codfish, little chunks of codfish.
It would. You're right.
Yeah, it's beautiful, yummy, hearty.
You're right. Yeah, because I've got some,
fish and fennel. Like fennel is delicious with codfish.
That's my base for my seafood soup, actually. And I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I'm not a Newfoundlander, so I didn't know that.
I know, but we don't put much fennel in our soups, but no, but when I lived in Nashville, I used a lot of fennel, and I love it because it has kind of like a licorice kind, flavor, but it's not licorice, it's fennel.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you have it fresh out of the garden, it can smell like licorice, but when you cook with it, I don't think it's anything like licorice. No. It's more closer to anise or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's pretty mild, but it brings out, it's so delicious. You'll notice it like in a soup when you eat it. So
yeah, it just makes it like hearty.
Well, it's really relevant in a soup.
Yeah. That was. You want to get to our topic today, Eddi? Are you feeling invisible?
I was starting to feel invisible. Yes. That's what happens, as you start to get older. That's one of the things I don't want to be. Well, I don't invisible. That's 2 of the things. All the things I read are the biggest fears of people as they get older is being invisible and feeling irrelevant.
Yeah.
Especially after they retire or, kids move out, moms don't have to cook or clean or, make sure
have something to worry about or fix or
be fearful over,
Yeah. Or enjoy your kids, what do you find, what else do you find joy in? Yeah, it's a good conversation to have. I have quite a few conversations with my clients that are in their 40s and especially their 50s, but in their 40s too, about what are you going to do when the kids are gone. And and so our topic today is really about feeling relevant at any age and beyond the invisible, seeing and celebrating ourselves at any and every stage of life. And really that, we're putting together our course for WO50 on embracing aging and being comfortable as we get older and really thriving, not just comfortable, but embracing and even thriving as we get over 50 and older. And so one of the topics, one of the chapters we were going to talk about is feeling relevant. And I was saying, it you have to get your relevance from the inside. And the sooner you get that,
Mhm.
you know, the easier the rest will be. Then once you feel relevant, no matter where you're at, no matter what situation you're in, and there's different ways we'll talk about that you can do that. Once you have that, once you own it, right? Once you
Yeah.
have it from the inside, you feel it from the inside, then you're not insecure in any situation. And it doesn't matter if you're visible or invisible because we can't control if people see us or not,
That's
you
right.
know. And
Yeah.
so,
The
yeah.
self-respect and the self-esteem that we have for ourselves, that's like we said on the last podcast, the inner growth, that inner, I had said personal growth, but the inner growth, that part of that inner growth is feeling the relevance of staying important, and especially with the wisdom that we have attained through the years, and we're learning, and we're continually learning, but we're always relevant.
Yeah, and
And
owning that, like that's the thing, is that if your relevance is reliant upon other people seeing your relevance, it's just it's going to fluctuate depending on, if you're in the groove or not, if you're in the culture of pop culture or not, or whatever group you're in. But once you find that authentic self, that confidence, that, like you said, that's, your self-esteem, your self-respect, all your feelings about yourself, then you thrive in anywhere. And then you can share your wisdom or not share your wisdom. That's the thing, is that
yeah,
some people want to hear the wisdom and some people don't. Like, I
that's
certainly
right.
know, and I've had friends, like younger friends, that don't, I know at times in their life they don't want to hear. I'll say, do you want feedback on that? And they'll be like, nope, I don't. I'm like, okay, no problem. You know,
Yeah,
it's not
and that's
something I would
great.
say, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's great. That's very, well, that's a person that's very confident or thinks they know more than you do.
Right. That person, yes. Uh,
Or they're just like, nope, nope, they're solid in it. They got it. And then your response back is always great because it's like, oh, okay, that's great. I can listen to music now. Then I don't need to talk for a bit. Or we can take it to a more sensitive place and go, geez, I have so much to share. They don't want to learn anything from me. Well, gosh, geez, I'm starting to feel irrelevant. They have artificial intelligence now, and so we could start that dialogue. But
mm-hmm.
that's why we're doing this, because we don't really want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I notice, like, especially as people might lose their hearing, and I've got friends that have lost their hearing I mean, it can happen in any age, doesn't really matter how old you are. Some people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or older. And people that, first of all, if you have trouble with hearing, I encourage you to get your hearing tested, and at whatever age you are, get a hearing aid, because it affects your brain. And the longer you wait to get a hearing aid, if you need one, it negatively affects your brain, because your brain adjusts, and it's harder to adjust as you get older. And so the longer you wait, the harder it is for your brain to adjust. So, and when you can't hear the conversation, you start to be out of the conversation. And that's what people, as they get older, it's like you think that they don't have anything to say. Of course they have stuff to say. They just, sometimes they have memory issues or hearing issues, and they are afraid to say anything or comment, so we can learn from those people that we know, we've seen, that are like that. They're too stubborn or too whatever it is to get a hearing aid. Memory issues you can't do anything about, if you're, and um in that case, you just have to talk about the present moment, not ask
That's
about
right.
their lunch, you know,
Or yesterday,
or
or
yesterday. Yeah,
mhm.
anything actually. And last week, usually, depending on what the memory issues are, if they can. So really just you know noticing how you feel in different situations, because we I know a friend of mine was saying she was visiting her daughter and the fiance, and she said I don't, I don't know why I was there. They didn't want my input on anything. And she took quite a, you know,
Offense.
affront to it and offense to it. And
Yeah.
if young people are, in their conversation talking about something and they don't want or not open to it, and especially if they're the kids, it's like there's nothing you can do about it, or other than, I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it,
No.
you
No.
got to lean into the discomfort of that. And because do you want to be around your kids still? Of course you do.
Mm-hmm.
And you can try to bring up topics that they'll be interested in, but sometimes they're just going to want to talk amongst themselves, especially
Mm-hmm.
if you're staying there for a couple of days. Sometimes they're
Yeah.
just having conversations that
It,
you're on the outside of.
yeah, and it doesn't mean they don't value you.
Yeah.
You might question that, that they're not wanting to hear what you have to say, but
Hmm.
you know they they're in their own little story
They're
in
in
their
their own
head.
world. Exactly. Like we make
Yeah.
up this thing like I'm not relevant anymore and they don't want to hear from me, but really they're just like maybe have a problem and they've got so much energy and focus on it. They don't even realize you're in the room, let alone not in the
Oh yeah.
conversation.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I was at an event yesterday. It was a pride parade, and I was dropping some of the kids off, and I was really relevant yesterday because I was their ride to get them down to the parade, and there was so many people and such a crowd, and I'm like, wow, it's a beautiful thing you're all doing. It's great, and it was just lovely,
Were they all
and
in their costumes?
yes, they were all in their wigs and drag and costumes, and it was a really warm day here. And then my granddaughter, I said to my daughter, now I know you're out doing the parade, and I'm over here on the sides. I got the wheels ready to go. I'm just, mending a knee. Can't get into the march with y'all. But next thing you know, they're 20 minutes in, a half hour in. My daughter's, Mom, can you come get her? Come get her. Come get her. It's like, yes,
Come
I'm
get
there.
Rowan.
Yeah. Rowan's like, Nana, yay. Yeah. Off she gets in with me. And yeah, I felt
So
very
she
relevant.
lasted, well, she lasted 20 minutes. That's good.
She
And
did
then
great, but she was all ready to do this big march and spend 2 hours out in the heat. And yeah, no.
you
So
knew she wouldn't last. You were staying on the sidelines for her, probably, right?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I
That's
was
sweet of you.
valued. I was very valued then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not invisible.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about that as we were thinking about our topic today. I was thinking, grandparents are probably, they are so important to, especially, when they have grandkids and they spend time with them. I mean, they're so important to both their children who they help out with the kids, and to their a special
Mhm.
relationship that, when kids are young, you said you've had these conversations with Oliver and he's like, "You're such a young nana,"
Yeah.
because you don't look like any of his other friends' nanas.
No, because
And
he told me, he told me the lines on this side are from, they're called laughter lines.
yeah,
I said, yeah. And he goes, you've got a lot of them on that side. I was like, yeah, because I laugh more on the right side. I said to him, I was like, honey, I don't know where they're going to show up. They're going to show up all over.
kids don't miss a thing.
They
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
No, they're
But
cute.
and so that's, such a beautiful thing that the grandparents are so important for the most part, if they've got a good relationship with everybody, and that can be a good way to feel relevant. And hopefully, I mean, I guess it always isn't the case. I've had this talk before. It's like it seems like it's natural that as we get older, we do have more self-confidence from within, and we don't need as much feedback from the outside because we're not getting as much feedback from the outside. So we
Right.
we we kind of adapt to that, hopefully.
Hmm.
But I know many older people that never did adapt and fought it, tooth and nail. So do you want to adapt and find that strength, that authenticity, that relevance, confidence from within,
Hmm.
or do you want to keep fighting
and
as
every
you
situation and every situation we're in allows us to learn more about ourselves, more about our
Mhm.
environment, more about who we're connected with, our friends, our family. And sometimes things crop up in families, and we're like, oh, I don't know if I like that way of communicating. We start kind of readjusting. Same with grandparents. Like some grandparents, they're not seen, or some are expected to do way more than they
Right.
thought they would have to. Like there's a huge piece of communication has to go on when you have three generations involved. Just think about it, three or four,
Or four.
and
Yeah, you have
or
four.
five. I have
Mm-hmm.
four
Yeah.
in mine. Like the other day, I took my mom out to get her hair cut for her birthday, her 89th birthday. And my daughter was at her salon. She cut her hair. I was taking my granddaughter. So all four of us are there in that moment. And I'm like, oh, I got to take a picture of this because, you know, I want to look back at this someday and go, wow, like what our parts were at life in that, like little snapshots, right? That's what
Mm-hmm.
life is. They're like little thumbnails, little snapshots.
Mm-hmm.
And what's relevant in the moment isn't down the road.
So
And
true. That's a good metaphor right there. I mean, and every moment is like that.
yeah, yeah,
And then when you do coaching, you sit with people, it's like whatever is a problem in their mind is so big, and it's so fluid. It always passes.
it's going to pass. Yeah. And it takes you over sometimes. My daughter's very passionate about stuff and very, man, if she has something she's standing for, like, wow, if she was in America right now with what's going on, ooh, and look out, what a campaign she would be running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I tell her, you know what? Watch now, just take a breath, calm down, because tomorrow it's going to be different. Yeah.
Tomorrow it's going to be different. Yeah.
Tomorrow it'll be different.
Yeah, because that's the other thing is we might feel relevant in one, we're hanging out with our friends and we're, you know, telling a story that's very important to all of us. And people are, we're having a conversation that's great. We're feeling, very connected and good conversation. And then in the next moment, we're, you know, at a gas station and can't get help or something like that. It's like, we're constantly going back and forth in these situations where sometimes we're seen and sometimes we're not seen.
Hmm.
And it is different. Like and it's interesting with attractive people. Like I give Mick Jagger as this, Mick Jagger is not an attractive human at any age. And because of that, he looks great at every age. Right?
That's
Like you
right.
don't even notice him getting older. You
No,
don't care because he
he's
looked
Mick
kind of,
Jagger.
yeah, he's Mick Jagger. He just is who he is. And if we can own it like that, like live life
Yeah.
like Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
But when you're
Move like
like a,
Jagger.
yeah, when you're, what is culturally like pretty or beautiful, it's it's harder. Like I see it with my nieces that are very beautiful. It's like it's a lot of pressure. I mean, her Sybil
Mhm.
Shepherd did a really good thing about it is she had a hard time when she turned 50 and embracing that, and because she was always known for her beauty and she
I
wanted to
think
be known for her brains.
yes. And I think if we talk about it more, there's just people don't feel they're alone thinking these thoughts. Like
Yeah,
everybody
that's
has
true.
these thoughts. I'm getting older. Oh my God, I'm getting wrinkles. If you're in a group of people that are aging beautifully, naturally, not wanting to do anything, and others are doing a little bit of something, and someone else is doing a lot of something, you know, eh, people are having the conversation, but a lot of times they're not wanting to share because we're
Mm-hmm.
all dealing with different things.
Mm-hmm.
That's why talking about the uncomfortable things is really important.
It's shining the light of awareness. It's
Yeah.
all it is it's making it not a mystique anymore so that you're holding it in and thinking you're the only person. It's
Yeah.
like there was a podcast I was listening to, Messy. Have you heard about that with Christina Applegate and Jamie? She played one of the daughter on The Sopranos. So
Hmm.
two young women who were the most on two of the most popular TV shows in the last 30 years, both have MS,
That's
multiple
right.
sclerosis.
That's
And so
right.
they've got a podcast called Messy, and
Mm.
they talk about, and Christina Applegate is very new. She's only been diagnosed a few years ago. So she's still
Yeah.
pretty angry and pretty confused and she's sharing that, her emotion about it. And she's been a workaholic her whole life. That's all she's known. So now she's not working at all. So coming to peace with that. And then Jamie, she was diagnosed. She kept it secret for 16 years, so she was diagnosed probably 18 or 20 years ago,
Wow.
and so she's lived with it longer. So them, talking, and they talked about it actually with Katie Couric. They had a great conversation their episode with Katie Couric, where they talked about the importance of sharing this in the public. Like 30 years ago, you didn't talk about having cancer or Parkinson's if you were well known or had a platform. But Katie Couric, she was probably one of the first who, when her husband died of colon cancer in the 90s, she shared it and she went through her grief with it. She had two young children. He died within 6 months, and
Mm,
talked about that. And then she went through breast cancer and, all of it, and all
yeah.
very publicly. And it helped her heal, and it helped her to know she was helping others as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's the vulnerability, she just made herself open, just vulnerable. Ask me anything. And through all that too, I watched Christina Applegate as well on an interview, and her talking about how she's moving through everything, um and it's getting easier and easier to talk about it, but it's the connections that she's made by talking about it,
yeah.
and the strength we get from other people. Because if we don't share it, or we're spinning our own story, and
Mm-hmm.
it might be, is- you know, not in the right lane for us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the more we talk about something or learn another approach to it, or because something's going to, we're all going to go down some lane in our lives where we weren't expecting it, you know?
Yeah.
And life dishes something at us, and then we have to deal with it. And we go, wow, how it could have been changed on a dime if something worse had happened. And sometimes something worse happens to some
Mm-hmm.
people, and they get through it and they move through it. And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, a lot of my patients come in and they're dealing with stage 4 breast cancer or colon cancer, and they're still here. They come in and they go, I'm still here. And this is what I've
Mm-hmm.
done. And I want to share it. And I'm like, write about it. So, there is literature out there to be read, and all these books that we, you know, listen to or read that are relevant to what we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's so important that we even share our little piece of what our story is
Mm-hmm.
as we're moving through being relevant. Or if we start to feel like we're becoming invisible, well, take a little check in with yourself and go,
Mm-hmm.
well, what can I do that would make myself more visible then? Should I
Mm-hmm.
write a poem or a book, or volunteer, or travel,
Mm-hmm.
go learn a language, or where is it I need to check in if I'm starting to feel that distancing? Because
Mm-hmm.
that happens a lot. Like you said earlier, some people coming in to visit you, and I get that quite a bit in my clinic too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, it's good to notice these things. Yes, I shared at the beginning. You've got to, and it's great. Now you gotta. It's like it's great if you can find your relevance from within yourself first, so
yes,
that then when you do things, it's not to get relevance. It's just to express yourself.
exactly, yes,
And so, but that's easier said than done. I've spent my life really knowing myself and knowing, studying awareness and meditation. And meditation is what did it for me. It put me in touch with my authentic, timeless self within. And that it didn't work. It wasn't a magic pill that worked immediately right away. It was something that was chiseled away over time. So I meditated regularly from the time I learned was 20, like age 26. And but then I also did a lot of retreats, and each time there'd be this like expansion and this understanding and more authenticity of knowing myself and being unshakable, more and more. And it just, yeah, it's something that happened naturally over time.
hmm and I love this 40-year, almost 40-year friendship we have. Um, it's when Corinne knows me so well that if I'm explaining something and I get on a um, a train of thought, and I know exactly in my head what I'm going to say, and then the words are going down the other road. she's so good at once I get it all out, she'll take it and add like salt and pepper to it. And then I'm like, yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, just fill in the blanks a little bit because I know how her brain works because I know it makes full sense in her head. And mostly it makes 80% sense, but then I'll say just a little, it's like brings it back into context.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's so much to share, isn't there? There's so much out there that we want to share, the wisdom, the knowledge, and I don't know, it's just I think it's just lovely, especially as we do all this inner work that it's like the more I do this, especially with you, I think this podcast is a beautiful gift and it's I feel relevant, but inside, it's not like, it's not because I want to be seen or, I want to leave a legacy. This just happened and I went, God, this really has helped me grow as a person to talk about things and, share it. It's like it doesn't matter if I stumble or I mess up words or I go down a road. I know you're going to grab the road. We're going to kind of catch each other along the way. And that's so important in life that we do that, you know?
Yeah.
Don't
I
you?
mean, you
Yeah.
definitely stretched out of your comfort zone to join and do the podcast. It wasn't like a natural thing for you,
No.
especially to, it's natural. Like you have a great talking voice and you've done radio in the past. And of course, you sing on stage and spoken about health and wellness, but talking about personal things, like talking about your life was new for you. Like you're usually the
Hmm.
one teaching, and it was a little bit um not in your comfort zone, and it's beautiful to see you relaxing into it and sharing and even enjoying it.
Oh, yeah. And even talking about like different family things or places now. And now that I'm more and more comfortable, and then I hear some feedback about, not that that matters, but I hear feedback that says, I never knew that about you. Wow. I feel like, and these are my patients that have been coming for years.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh, wow. Gee, yeah, because we never get to share these beautiful little bits about ourselves, right? With people. And when they come in, um, I always feel like I know my peeps anyway when they come in and we sit for a bit. But this gives people a chance to kind of get to know us a bit
Yeah.
deeper as well as we're sharing and kind of I don't know. I like this now that
Yeah,
we're
I'm
getting
so
it.
glad. And
More and more at it.
it's not like we're, it's not like we're immune, or it's not good to not enjoy being acknowledged. Like every human being on the planet, no matter how confident and relevant you feel from within, enjoys uh whether it's praise or being, noticed, or we all enjoy that. It's just if your sense of self-worth and your happiness depend on it, that's when
Hmm.
it's an issue.
That's
So,
right.
I enjoy when people want to learn from me, but I also don't have much an opinion if somebody doesn't want to learn from me, right? But I do enjoy it when they do. So
Yes.
that's the fine line of it, is finding that balance. There's nothing wrong with, you know, enjoying when people enjoy the podcast. We love that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we do it for ourselves first.
We do because we're talking every week anyway, usually.
Yeah.
And now we get to talk about stuff that especially with the course that we're working on,
Yeah.
that we get to talk about things because it's also we're doing this for ourselves as well. And I always feel whatever I'm doing for myself, there's hundreds of people out there, thousands, maybe millions that are doing the same thing. They're
Yeah.
searching in the same way.
Well, I've said this before, it's like we all have much more in common than we do differences as human beings. And
Yeah.
so anything that we share that we want to know more of, that we're struggling with, that we are celebrating, whatever it is in our lives that we're sharing from a personal, authentic space, there's going to be people that resonate because we're all the same. We're not all exactly the same, that you can't walk in another man's shoes. Our perspective's different, but the emotions and the feelings and as it being human at this time on the planet, we're having very similar experiences.
Yeah. And we all don't look like Mick Jagger, like that's
or move like him either.
or move
Do
like Mick,
you see that? There's actually, I think, a TikTok video of him like doing his dance moves, and I think
I
he's like in
saw
his
it.
80s, right?
I
He's in his
saw
80s or something, and he's still moving the same way. Have you seen
Good
him
for
live?
him. Good for him.
Yeah. Have you
We
seen him live?
actually, oh my, that's a story. We had tickets to go from Newfoundland to New York, and we were in Eastport, which is a beautiful place, with friends, staying with some friends, actually Strat's cousins and his wife, who are wonderful. And we bought tickets. We're all sitting there going, the Stones are playing New York. And right in that moment, we bought tickets, booked the Airbnb, and then Gail says, well, they're getting up in years. I hope one of them, something doesn't happen to one of them. And then Mick got sick. And this is before Charlie, the drummer, passed. Mick got sick. Tour was canceled. We had our tickets, so we went anyway. And it became a trip of the century. So it was the most expensive non Rolling Stone trip we ever did do.
Right.
So
Right.
we still haven't seen them. Have you?
Yeah, I saw them in Australia. That would have been, I was living in Australia in 1988. So it's quite a few many moons ago. And what was so funny is it was in Sydney. It was on my way. I'd been living in Australia for 8 months or so, singing at World Expo there. And my friends all wanted to go. And I was not even a Stones fan at all. Like, you like some of their main songs, but I was not.
Yes.
But after I saw the concert, I was like, yeah, they're
Oh, yeah.
awesome. It was,
I always loved their music and
yeah.
you too. And there's so many amazing groups that have been around a long time,
Yeah, and now
Paul
they're getting,
McCartney and
yeah, now they're getting older and they're still amazing.
yes, Willie Nelson. I mean, look at Dolly Parton. We just had Emmylou Harris up here. She did
Mm-hmm.
our folk festival there last week. Amazing, amazing.
Mm-hmm. Sarah
77 years old.
McLachlan.
Sarah's been here. Shania's here next month for three
Mm-hmm.
sold out concerts. She came to do one and she sold out three.
She's got to
So,
be almost 60 because she should be the same age as us, around the same
yes,
age.
yes,
Yeah.
she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she looks amazing, and
Yeah.
her throat is healing, and you think about what she had to go through in her life, right?
She went through a lot. Did you watch the documentary yet?
Not yet. I will.
Oh, it's so good. The documentary on Shania Twain. I can't remember what platform it is on, but that's one thing I use AI for, is because it's more specific. So I use Perplexity AI. It's just an app and it's free. You go on
Okay.
Perplexity rather than ChatGPT, and you can use it, just ask questions, and I just say, hey, what there's a documentary on Shania Twain. What platform can I watch it on? And you want to
Oh,
say in Canada, if you're in Canada, or in the USA, and it'll tell you what platform. Google won't do that. Google will give you the information, but this will conglomerate all of it. I'll say, yeah, I said, like, I got tomatoes and fennel in the garden. I want to cook. And what do I do with it? So, yeah. So I'm feeling relevant by using AI. And I'd like to help other people feel that way too. Because you may have heard AI might be getting a bad rap. And Colleen and I were talking about it today. It's like AI is not going to put as many people out of work as we think.
mhm.
And it's not as amazing. All it is it gathers information.
Yeah.
It gathers information, and it's only as good as the questions you ask it. And so I'll ask it. I'll say, I have this, and this in my fridge. What can I make? Give me
And is
3
it always
recipes.
true? Is the answer always true
Well,
what it
yeah,
gives back?
the what you hear that's fake, okay, this is what you hear that's fake, is that yes, there have been studies. If you use it for science or for a company, and you say, like, there's some people that use it, like at Microsoft, they'll use it to create code or whatever, and
Mhm.
you've just got to double check it with it, or they'll ask for an experiment. Can you cite these experiments? And it has made up experiments. So it'll
Mm.
say, yes, this is a source and this is this experiment, but
Mhm.
it's created the experiment. So in that way, it can make things up. But you're using it for your day to
Mhm.
day life. It's not going
Yeah.
to make up
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's only as good as the questions that you ask it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty phenomenal.
We
It's
live in a
pretty
fun
phenomenal.
age. Yeah.
We
So I like to
do.
stay relevant that way. That's one way that I've always loved computers. Especially, yeah, I've got friends my
Yeah.
age that they don't, they still have a flip phone, and, there's And I love that, my mom has an iPhone. She doesn't have the newest iPhone, but she has an iPhone, knows how to use it. And
she knows how to FaceTime and
because she can stay in touch with her grandkids and her kids that way. And so those people that sort of push against, technology or growth or AI or whatever, it's like you can if you want to, but that is you got to know you're not going to be as relevant you can stay more relevant. That's an easy way to stay more relevant, is to kind of stay up on that side of things a little bit more.
Like the baby boomers and the millennials,
what about them?
They need to text each other. So the baby boomers need to know how to operate the phone and check Facebook and see
I'd rather ask the next generation down for that. I ask my nieces and nephews those questions.
Yes.
Yeah, they help me with those things.
And with my grandkids. My grandkids, I'm just floored by what they know about AI. It's amazing. Yeah, I'll have to share it at another time.
It's another conversation.
When it's more relevant.
Relevant. That's great. All right, Ed, that was a fun conversation. I hope everybody is enjoying their summer and that you're taking care of yourself, because life can be stressful these days. There's a lot of stuff in the news, a lot of things going on in the world. But what matters is how you're living your life, and that you're happy, and you're being relevant to what's in your own life and keeping in your own lane.
Thanks for listening.